Please welcome from Jerusalem, Israel, Kay Wilson.
Does the music stop? Somewhere Over the Rainbow is one of the most famous songs in American history, but my relationship to the song is far more complicated. It was the song playing on the radio as my friend Christine Lucan and I drove into a Jerusalem pine forest for a hike on a perfect autumn day 8 years ago. It's the last song Christine would ever hear. It's the song that is synonymous with my own survival. While walking under a canopy of beautiful pine trees, we were accosted by two Palestinian terrorists. They asked us a question in Hebrew, and I responded in Hebrew, regretting it instantly. I realized that they were trying to confirm, to test, if we were Jewish. And before we knew what was happening, they had their machetes at our throats. And we stood there for half an hour, gagged, bound, and barefoot. And suddenly I was pushed to my knees. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a light. And it was the sun glinting off his machete. And I prepared myself to be beheaded. And then the forest rang out in this cosmic symphony. They screamed, Allahu Akbar. My Christian friend, Christine, whimpered, Jesus, help me. And I heard my own pathetic, helpless cries of Shema Yisrael. And one of the men stabbed me in the back so hard that I fell to the ground. And as he's stabbing me, the only thing I can see is my friend, Christine Lucan, 2 meters away, valiantly struggling with her assailant and struggling in vain. She was hacked to death in front of me. Believing I'm dead, the men leave, only to return moments later to stab me one last time. And that final thrust missed my heart by 4 millimeters. And they left again. And I know I'm dying. And nevertheless, I force myself to get up so I can die nearer where I parked the car, so the police would eventually find my body and find Christine. And I managed to stand and gag bound barefoot. With each step I take, I hear the sounds of the forest. I can hear the twigs snap under my feet. I can hear the birds twittering. I can hear crickets chirping. I can hear bees humming. And I can hear the wind rustle through the trees. And then I hear D flat major, G flat minor. I begin to hear the first chords of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And in order not to think about my friend, I start to compose an arrangement of that song in my head, A flat major, G minor. And I was doing this, walking, hardly able to breathe, until I found help. I found a family at a picnic table, I found an ambulance, I found a hospital, I found the police. And within days, the police arrested the murderers, in fact, a whole terror cell. And 9 months later, I faced my assailants in court. And the trial itself was a microcosm of Israel. It was of conflict, yet compassion. And people came from all over the country. People I didn't know, Jewish people, Muslims, Christians, Druze, they all came to show their support and their abhorrence for such a heinous crime. And after the trial, this Israeli guy comes up to me and he says, no, meine name, like, how are you? And I answered bluntly, I said, you know, I've lost my friend, I've lost my health, I've lost my home, I've lost the dignity to provide for myself, I've lost sleep, weight, routine, I've lost my humanity, and given the fact that I have watched an innocent woman hacked to death while she is crying out to her God, I have lost my innocence. And he looks at me and he says, so what else is new? Yeah, brutal, right? Not so. He wasn't dismissing my pain. He was reminding me that I had a choice. Either I could be a victim or I could choose to live despite what happened to me. And given what I'd experienced, I had to ask myself, how could I absorb something so evil into my soul without it consuming me? Because I do not forgive. And I cannot forget. But I will not live the rest of my life in hatred or fear. And 6 weeks after the attack, once again, help would find me, and I was introduced to the organization One Family. And One Family works with Israelis like myself, whose lives have been ravished by terror. And like Israel itself, like the Jewish people, we've all chosen to live in the light and not to dwell in darkness. We are a family, are one family, we're survivors in a nation built by survivors. We are the personification of Israel itself. And so today, I choose to tell you my story, to bear witness, not only to evil, but to the goodness of my people Israel. Because my story is Israel's story. And I choose life. So as I sit down to play Somewhere Over the Rainbow, play the piano, I can assure you that like the Jewish people, I am alive. So I want to celebrate with you now the life of my late friend, Christine. And we're going to celebrate the land we heard of once in a lullaby, where the skies are blue and where the dreams you and I dare to dream really do come true. And by shining a light and letting the world know that we are still here, we survived. Am Yisrael Chai.